What's going on, everyone? So, Austin Reaves, for the most part this season, has operated as the third guy for the Los Angeles Lakers. And in all honesty, he's a very good role player. He's very talented. I like Austin Reaves a lot. He's not a third option, right? And in all honesty, they don't have like that ideal third option on this team. But this season, they are operating Austin Reaves to the best of their ability as a third option. The problem is he's not consistent enough, for one. Two, he doesn't shoot the ball well, right? On 7.4 attempts per game this season, he's shooting 35.5% from three-point range. But this isn't a guy that is like super elite. He had that one run where he shot nearly 40%, 39.8% on 3.4 attempts. But last season, he was 36.7% on 5.1 attempts. This season, he's 35.5% on 7.4 attempts. His production or his attempts have gone up every year, but his percentage has gone down every year. He's not a good volume shooter. He has his games, he has his moments, right? We've all seen the game where, he's 5 of 7 from 3 or 6 of 7 from 3 or something like that, but he's not consistently good in that manner. His 2-point percentage is even down this season. He's shooting 55% from 2-point range, which is good, don't get me wrong, but it's the worst of his career, right? He has an EFG of 54%, which is, again, the worst of his career. He's shooting 77.4% from the foul line, which, again, is the worst of his career. He's rebounding at 3.5 rebounds per game. That's solid. 4.8 assists. That's solid. But he's not a good playmaker, right? He doesn't handle ball pressure well. Lakers are one of the worst ball pressure teams in the league. And it just so happens that Austin Reaves has the highest usage rate of his career. He's been on ball more than he's been his entire career. And again, yes, you look at his point total, it's gone up every season. Right? He's averaging 16.7 points per game this season, but he's doing it on not great efficiency compared to the previous years. Again, he's getting more and more shot attempts, but his production is going lower and lower and worse, right? But when he is actually at his best statistically? When he's coming off the bench as the sixth man. I mean, even last year, he had his struggles, right? Goes to the bench immediately after like a couple games, is leading the league in sixth man of the year, right? Him and Tim Hardaway Jr. were the two that were like leading the standings, right? And yet he ended up getting his way back into the starting unit, and he had his inconsistencies. And that's who he is. He's inconsistent. And that's, look, it is what it is, right? Again, that doesn't make him a bad player, but he's not the third option. And yet you have a guy in D'Angelo Russell who is starting to kind of get himself together, starting to come into his own a little bit, right? But he's also a guy that last year as the third option was better than Austin Reaves this year as the third option, right? Again, D'Angelo Russell, you got to keep in mind, is operating as the sixth man this year. It's what he's operating as. But last year, let's look at the stats. He averaged 14.2 attempts per game compared to, again, we're comparing Austin Reaves to his third year, compared to Austin Reaves' 13.2 attempts per game. So he's getting, basically one more attempt last season than this season, or than Reaves is, right? He shot 45.6%. He shot 41.5% on 7 attempts per game. He's shooting the same number of attempts as Austin Reaves is this year. And one guy is last year, and D'Angelo Russell shot 41%, and Austin Reaves this year is shooting 35.5%. 2-point range, shot 50%. Austin Reaves this year is shooting 55%, but D'Angelo Russell also took more 2-point attempts. He had an EFG of 56% last year, where you look at Austin Reaves, he has an EFG of 54%. Let's keep going, right? Free throw percentage, 82.8% on 2.5 attempts, to Austin Reaves, 77.4% on 3.3 attempts. So he's taking more attempts and shooting a worse percentage. Assists, 6.3 to Reaves 4.8. He also averaged 3.1 rebounds, which Austin Reaves, as the third option, is averaging 3.5. So same rebounds. D'Angelo Russell giving you 18 points with the steal, which is what Austin Reaves is giving you this year. Half a block, which Austin Reaves is giving you 0.2. So literally across the board, D'Angelo Russell, as the third option, averaged more points, averaged better efficiency, shot the ball on a better three-point percentage. He's a better shooter, and he's a better playmaker. Like, however you feel about Austin Reaves, there's no denying that. D'Angelo Russell is a better three-point shooter and a better playmaker. However you want to justify Reaves or whatever, there's no justifying that. That's just the facts. He is, right? D'Angelo Russell, also what he does is he takes the pressure off of LeBron James right now. LeBron James is struggling mightily. And D'Angelo Russell is starting to come into his own a little bit. Now, obviously, he has to maintain that, right? This is going on the assumption that he can get back to being that, third option level D'Lo. Which, look, I'm not saying you don't trade D'Angelo Russell. I'm not saying you trade. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just talking about in the moment. For right now, until a trade gets done, the Lakers got to do what's best for the team. They tried the D'Angelo Russell on the bench experiment. I think it's time to swap the two, and let's see. Look, if it doesn't work, you can always go back. But D'Angelo Russell, again, operating as the third guy, had better efficiency and was the better player than Austin Reaves as the third guy. And Austin Reaves as the fourth guy was actually better, right, than he has been. Again, I went over stats. Literally, his percentages are down across the board. But, when Austin Reaves was back to 40% from three and nearly 60% from the floor and all that, last year when he was coming off the bench, because he's going up against bench units and bench defenses and all that stuff, right? So he gets to come in and he gets to just play his game. He gets to just go out there and score the basketball and shoot the basketball and stuff, right? He gets to be aggressive and find his spots. I think it's best for Austin Reaves and his production. I think it's best for D'Angelo Russell and his production. And I think it might be best for LeBron James if you actually allow D'Angelo Russell to operate on ball like they have been for Austin Reaves. They have allowed Austin Reaves to operate on ball. D'Lo's also been very good this season at getting to the basket, right? And if he can continue to provide the shooting that he's been shooting the last, couple games, then again, that between him and Connect, I know Connect's struggling right now, but I expect him to turn it around and figure it out at some point, right? Like, now you have the shooting in the starting unit, which gives you the floor spacing. You have the playmaking, right? Now LeBron doesn't have to handle the playmaking duties as heavily. I do think that this is the best decision currently, right? Again, if, you pull off a trade or something, then obviously things change, right? But I don't think it's even a debate. I think it's very clear. Again, if it doesn't work, you can always go back. If it doesn't work, you can always swap them back, right? You can always bring D'Lo back off the bench, and you can always start Austin Reaves. But I just think right now, D'Angelo Russell is playing with some real confidence. He's getting back to his swagger. I know the percentage. You look at the percentage this year, and I know somebody's going to bring that up. Well, he's struggling. Again, big difference between when you're the third option and you're the sixth option. He's taking 4 fewer attempts. D'Lo's always been a rhythm guy. He always has. Now, big difference when you're taking 14.2 attempts compared to 10.5. Or you're taking 7.2 threes compared to 5.8. Right? And I talked about this before. D'Lo had the same struggles last year. He was shooting 31% from three-point range, which he's shooting 30.6% right now on the season. And then he just all of a sudden turned it on, figured it out, and then ended up having a historically great season. Historically great. Right? Like, I get the playoff concerns and all that stuff. D'Lo's probably not going to be on this roster come playoffs, so you don't have to worry about that right now. I'm just talking about momentarily. You need to put yourself in the best position possible. Also, you know who has the best defensive rating between the two? D'Angelo Russell. So D'Angelo Russell is giving you better defense. He's the better shooter. He's giving you the same type of rebounds. He's giving you more assists. He's a better playmaker. Like, what? Again, what are we doing here? Austin Reaves has a defensive rating of 19.6 this season. D'Angelo Russell has a defensive rating of 18.8. Neither are great. Let me make that very clear. Neither are great. But, again, slightly better defense, slightly better defense. However you want to look at it. I mean, even last year, Reaves had a 117.9 defensive rating. D'Lo had a 118.1. So literally, you're talking a 0.2 defensive rating. So they're basically the same level of defender, right? So let's say they're equally bad defensively. Okay, well, what are the pros and cons? Again, D'Lo's the better playmaker. LeBron's really struggling. D'Lo's the better three-point shooter. Austin Reaves is very inconsistent and not great shooting the three ball. Right? Like, to me, it's a no-brainer. To me, it makes all the sense in the world. D'Lo, I think, needs to be in the starting unit. I think you need to bring Austin Reaves off the bench. Let Austin Reaves be the sixth man. Let him operate as the sixth man. Again, you can always move him back into the starting unit. And if you pull off a trade or you do whatever, you can always move him back in. But if you win a couple more games that you otherwise, because D'Lo's now in the starting unit, why wouldn't you do that? Again, what does it hurt to try? I'm not saying trade Austin Reaves. I'm not saying I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm saying right now, D'Lo he's the better need to fill the void that we have. I think you need to go with D'Lo. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Agree with me? Disagree with me? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. I love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.